Have you ever just woke up one morning, sat on the toilet, started pushing a poopy out, and right in the middle of crowning you think to yourself, man, I would really like to kill some big baddies with a throwing knife today? Well, either have I, until recently. I used to be a normal person, think about what I had going on that day, eat some Cocoa Pebbles, but now it's all about throwing knives and aliens. And I have a feeling by the time we're done with this video, you're going to be doing the same thing. So if you like finishing more enemies off than a shady back alley massage parlor, getting fast supers, or throwing weighted knives that do way more damage than they probably should, then guess what? You're in the right place. What's up, my fellow weirdos? How are you today? Hello, how's everybody doing? Okay, where do I begin with this one? So a few weeks ago, I made a video, and in it, I mentioned an Arc Elemental Well mod called Well of Ions. I said the mod was trash because I didn't like the setup or the 10-second window you have on it. Well, somebody named Submatter, surprise, surprise, you know, the one who thinks my name is creepy, commented on the video and recommended I try it with Athrys Embrace. By the way, Submatter, I take no offense to that. I'm here to say I stand corrected. I kept trying to make it work with the Titan because, you know, Titan punch. That's the way I think. And I did. I got some crazy damage numbers, but it felt like it took too much setup. I ended up scrapping 3 different videos this season because I hated it so much. And I know I'm late to the party on this one, or that somebody probably made a video on it already. But the Athrys Embrace and Well of Ions combo is lethal, and now I want to share it with whoever I can. So, let's get into it already. Starting off with the helmet, I used the Arc mod hands-on and the artifact version of Ashes to Assets to gain bonus super energy for melee and grenade kills. I also made sure there's enough room for the regular version of Ashes to Assets since we'll be losing the artifact version in a few weeks. For the major mod, I used Elemental Charge to become Charged with Light by picking up Elemental Wells. You only get 1 stack of Charged with Light if it doesn't match the subclass, but that's okay, and I'll explain why shortly. And don't forget, every time you pick up an Elemental Well, it gives you 10% of your energy back to the lowest ability. Moving over to the arms. You already know we're using Athrys Embrace. The intrinsic trait on these sexy arms is called Skittering Stinger, and it reads, Weighted Knife gains a second bounce. Rapid precision hits, not kills by the way, with your weapons grants Weighted Knife a significant damage bonus and the ability to stun unshielded combatants for a short time. It's also good against unstoppable champions. When they say significant damage bonus, they were not joking. No joke. If you don't need any champion mods, I would recommend stacking Momentum Transfer to reduce melee cooldown when causing damage with a grenade. For the major, I use the Charged Light mod Reactive Pulse. While Charged with Light, taking damage while surrounded emits a burst of damaging arc energy, consuming 1 stack of Charged Light. It also has a secondary perk if you have another arc mod socketed in, which happens to be Momentum Transfer. You gain a powerful overshield while performing a finisher. Not only does that overshield come in handy while performing the finisher, the pulse that this mod sends out can put most low-level enemies in a finisher state or very close to it. I can't tell you how many times this mod has saved my booty because I was getting surrounded while finishing a champion. It pushes them back to give you a little breathing room. On the chest, I used melee damage resistance and concussive dampener to reduce point-blank range and area of effect damage. Melee damage resistance is the more important one because this build requires you to be up in everybody's face a lot. And for the major mod, I used Well of Ions, which causes your next melee to deal 30% more damage after picking up an Arc Elemental Well. There's only a 10-second window, and you'll see a timer pop up above your super bar saying melee damage bonus. On the legs, I used Invigoration twice to reduce melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb. And for the major mod, I used Overload Wellmaker. Defeating a combatant with a finisher spawns 2 Arc Elemental Wells. You don't have to pick up both Elemental Wells at the same time because all it does is refresh the timer on that melee damage. This means you can get the damage buff, throw your Weighted Knife, and then pick up another one. On the cloak, I used Breach Eclair and Blast Radius to debuff enemies and become Charged with Light by rapidly defeating multiple combatants with a grenade launcher. Once again, Breach Eclair, along with the artifact version of Blast Radius, will be going away in a few weeks. When that happens, I would recommend the Become Charged Light mod Sustained Charge, or the non-artifact version of Blast Radius. You want 2 ways to become Charged with Light because the Reactive Pulse will keep knocking enemies back and consuming stacks. So between Elemental Charge and Blast Radius or Sustained Charge, you should have stacks consistently. Moving over to the weapons. In the kinetic slot, I had to go with Monte Carlo. The weapon perk on this gun is called Markov Chain. It gains increased damage for melee and weapon kills. The intrinsic trait is the Monte Carlo method. Dealing damage with this weapon reduces your melee cooldown and grants a chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. As long as you're hitting an enemy, it'll consistently give you a small amount of melee energy. I cannot stress enough how good this gun actually is. It gets overlooked and forgotten about quite a bit actually, but with the right build, it's potent. For the energy weapon, I use Salvager's Salvo, but you can use any grenade launcher you want. I honestly just chose this one because it's what I had equipped on my hunter already. And for the heavy, I'm still rocking that quick fang because I like running around pretending to be a ninja. Don't judge me. It actually comes in really handy because when you're up close performing finishers and melee kills, you get in trouble sometimes. This sword is a really good way to get back out of it. Okay, let's talk skill trees. Obviously, we need the bottom tree golden gun for the weighted knife, otherwise the arthritis gauntlets won't work. It's not the only reason though. I always talk about the subclass perk, practice makes perfect. Every precision hit, and once again, not a kill, reduces the cooldown of your golden gun. And when you're using something like the Monte Carlo and racking up those precision shots, your super bar starts filling up fast. You also get the benefit of golden gun being able to do precision damage with the perk line 'em up. It doesn't get any better than that. For the grenade, use whatever you want, but I would recommend the trip mine because you could stick it to a boss's chest and make it look like they have one big titty. And for the dodge, you gotta go with Gambler so you can get your melee back when dodging their enemies. There isn't a whole lot of prep for this build. Finish the enemy, which will drop 2 arc elemental wells and give you an overshield while performing it. When you pick up those elemental wells, you become charged with light and get a boost to your melee damage for 10 seconds at the same time. Throw that charged melee at the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the room to do some serious damage. If you're surrounded, Reactive Pulse will proc and knock the enemies back along with taking a chunk of their health, which could put them in a finishing state. Rinse and repeat. Don't forget, you have Blast Radius on, which will make you charged with light from grenade launcher kills as well. And in the background, while you're out there plundering hive booty, you're getting bonus damage to the Monte Carlo from melee kills. And the Monte Carlo is refilling your melee, along with proccing Practice Makes Perfect on the subclass to get your super fast. This build was a blast, especially since I get to throw knives everywhere and do stupid amounts of damage with a melee. It's kind of the Titan way if you really think about it. Come on. Like I was saying earlier, I know I'm late to the party on this one, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope you do too. Once again, gotta give a big thank you to Submatter, so thank you. If you found this video helpful, a like would be greatly appreciated, but more importantly, just be a good person to one another and have a fantastic day. Thank you!